I have just wrapped up a set of swingers and some of my brackets that I'm getting ready to ship out to a customer in California. This is, I believe, it's 8 or 9, so I'm going to go with 8 pairs of these swingers that I have sold here at TTB Machine and getting ready to ship out. These are my Jeep XJ TTB swapped swingers for dual swing set steering. Which kind of, ironically enough, timing of life, funny how things in the universe always work like that. I ended up, you might have noticed, I was cutting on my plasma table in my shop, which is the first time ever. I've have this plasma table. This is a big part of when I started my business. I actually was over at a restaurant, the Bucket Bar, Golden Sands restaurant, and me and my wife were eating. And that's when Will had asked me if I would build a swing set steering on his Jeep XJ that he was building. He was LS swapping and TTB swapping his XJ and had it to the point he needed some steering built. So I ended up deciding to do it. I did not have this at the moment. I figured I could build the steering, but I was like, I really got to get a plasma table if I'm going to do this. So my wife actually had the money. At the time, I had no money available to go out and buy something like this. But my wife had the savings saved up, and she chose to, I don't know, I guess spend it on me and buy this thing, and we started doing TTB Machine that way. So, pretty cool story, pretty sentimental. And it's also cool that that was the very first thing that I bought and I built was a set of those swingers for Will and his Jeep XJ. I actually pulled his Jeep right here in this, right where the Chevy is right now. There was stuff everywhere. I never actually put my plasma table in here when I bought it because there was not 240 power out here. It wasn't insulated, it wasn't heated, but my house garage had that, so I put it in my house garage, moved my car out of the garage, and I have been cutting with it in my house garage for the last 4 years, 4.5, and now we have this thing in the shop, so pretty pumped about that. And like I said then, pretty cool that the very first thing that I did using the table in here was another set of swingers. So 4.5 years later, that job that started doing TTB Machine is something that I still knock out and get these things sold and shipped out. So this is headed out to a guy that is TTB swapping an XJ out in California. So I'm going to get those packaged up. Now, before the next thing you're going to see is a white F150 here. But I'm actually filming this after that is already done and left. And then after that, there's going to be a sand car. But I'm gonna kind of throw this in here just because the Green Ranger is back in. It's been with the owner for about a month now. It's because this crimp fitting on this shock hose is weeping. It's got some oil coming out there. So I'm gonna take the coilovers off. Both sides are doing it. We're gonna take these off. I'm gonna get some new hoses put on and swapped and throw it back in there. But owner has said he's probably got about 50 laps on this beam kit. So beams are under there, my spindle uprights, and everything is looking good. So pretty cool to get this thing in. I'm going to do a little once over on it kind of while I'm in there taking the tires and all that stuff off. Check some bolts and check everything out. So that'll be coming up in a video. I'll probably do like a tear down and yeah, like a little evaluation of what my beam kit looks like after 50 good hard laps on it. So that'll be coming, but for now, let's get into some repair work on an F-150. I'm going to be working on the lower control arm bolt holes. They were all slotted out, so this truck came in, had to get those holes turned back in, well, slots turned back into holes, and here's a little bit of video on how I did it. looking at the pockets for the lower control arms on this F150. I got the lower arms unbolted, even got the uppers taken out of here. Shocks are strapped out of the way here, because we are going to have to do some cutting, grinding, welding, all that fun stuff. If you look right here, we got some nice round holes. These look good. And if you look here, we got some nice ovals, or slots, whatever you want to call them. That's not supposed to look like that. So these customer brought this in. It was knocking, making some noise, and it was already taken somewhere previously. And for this issue in theirs, if we could see in there, they had cut an access hole and then welded that plate on there with a new hole. But it doesn't look like they made that plate come all the way back to the mating surface of where the bushing face comes. So it ended up, it was still loose. I don't think this hole was ovaled out, but now this one's ovaled out. So we are going to do some repair work. This is also cracked up right in here. So I'm going to come in, cut this piece out. We'll get rid of that. I'll add on to this plate that's in the front here. That has our location that we need, because that hole is still round right there. So that has the location of where these holes need to be. I'll end up putting a weld washer on here, welding it, and then I'll probably backfill the back of the slot back in and then re-drill the hole, but get that all filled in there with new metal. And that's going to be how we fix it. And this one I'm going to get a little cutoff wheel up in there and then cut probably a square out and make a new 1/4 inch piece. That's what the gap is from that back plate there to this face, is a 1/4 inch. Drop a 1/4 inch piece in there with a hole drilled in it, line it all up, and we will burn that in there. So we will have an even mating surface for our bushing to sit against. And now when we put a bolt in there and clamp on it, it'll actually be clamping tight and not have this air gap space in between there. So we'll get this one fixed up, and we'll put her back together. So we'll get busy cutting some stuff out first. we got another sand car in here. On another one. This episode is full of all sorts of repairs. It's repair week here. I got that Green Ranger out of here, and this spot is opened back up. And have got all these little projects, you know, that kind of take only a couple days. The vehicles are only here for like a week. And I've been kind of getting a lot of these things through. So that's been awesome. We have another sand car in here. Not as much repair as the last sand car that I had in here that ripped the rear trailing arm tab off. But this car, it does have a crack in a weld. I'm going to see if I can get in here and show you. Right in there. Yeah, you can see if it focuses. Right in around there, it is all cracked. Sometimes if I zoom in, that'll help. So you can see the paint where it's a little like rusty looking. There's a crack right there. And then it wraps all the way around and kind of ends back over here. So it's just a cracked tube. The owner of the car saw it. I think from what was said, he had jumped. It was a pretty big jump, hard landing. So we got out, checked the car out. And when he did, he found that crack. So that is the only, I've done a look around, is the only crack that we can find so far. So I've got to come in here. Get the car up on jack stands. We're going to have to get those shocks out of the way, take tires off, so I can get in here, grind that paint out, grind into that crack, find out if it spreads any further. We'll re-weld that up. And then I will also use the plasma table and CAD, and I'll draw up a gusset, kind of like a three-finger, let's see, I can't get my three fingers to spread that far. A three-finger gusset like that out of plate that encapsulates this tube, and this tube, and we'll put it on the inside there and weld it. And the other side is not cracked yet, but since we're going to cut the gusset and do all the work, we'll go ahead and put that gusset on the other side as well for the customer to hopefully have no more issues with any more cracks and make this a little bit stronger so they can keep sending this car and ripping it through whoops. So I'm going to try to get this one banged out. There is a couple other little things to address on this car if I had time. I only have one day to turn this car around and get that repair done. So I'm going to get that wrapped up and then see if we got time to work on a couple other little issues that the owner pointed out to us. So let's get torn into this one right away. just finished up doing the weld repair on this sand car and getting ready to put the shocks back on it, put the tires back on it, take it off the jack stands, and this car is ready to go. Show you a little look-see. This is the side that was not cracked, but we did weld in a gusset there anyways. You can see there's kind of a gusset with some different fingers on it, overlaying off of all those different pieces of tube. So that is the little gusset that I drew and cut for this car. You can see earlier that crack was in there. We got some paint on it now, but that was welded up. Sand car is back on its own weight. This one is ready to roll out of here. Customer's coming to pick this one up. Another one in and out of the shop. So, yeah, if you're watching the channel, thank you, appreciate you. If you're out in the dunes and you break your sand car, hit me up. If you want me to build you a complete new chassis sand car with a front end you've never seen before, also hit me up. We'll catch you next time. See you on the dunes. Peace.